was a really good job today. Thanks for coming out. It was good to see you. I think that I want to just start this video as a little bit of an overview for what it is that you tend to do, and then we'll break it down into the sum of its parts. So when we look at your your starting position and then sort of compare it, let's say, to your impact position, we can see both of those things. They both seem to set up for somebody who's going to flight the golf ball up high into the air. Maybe lose a little bit of compression through the wrist angles and things here. And if we go back to the beginning there and start that starting position, and let's put that up against Rory, because he's somebody who does compress it so well, hits his irons so well. And we can see that there's a big difference in the way that you look here, where Rory looks as if he's pretty well centered over the ball here. You look as if your center wants to lean you back to the right a little bit too much. And the other thing that we notice is that where Rory has his hands up in a position where they're a little bit more over the golf ball, you certainly look as if your hands are almost getting into a position where they're sort of behind the golf ball. And we made some conversations about your right-hand grip linked into that. You can see it is a body position issue, because you can see these two arrows are pretty much in the same sorts of places for you guys. So you can see your body's leaning back a little bit too much, and your hands have gotten slightly out of position there. So what that does to your golf swing from the other angle is it basically has you turning on a little bit like we refer to as like a flat shoulder plane, whereas Rory stays within his angles, and we can see his nose kind of pointing down the way it was at the beginning. If I start off at your beginning position and then take you up, we can see your hat is raised and gone up and back, and that's gotten you a little bit out of position during your backswing. So what we need to do, therefore, is we've got to revamp this starting position, and we based it a little bit around your physical screen, which led me to believe there's a little balance issue, on your right side. Certainly when you went into the overhead deep squat, you went down to the right. So have a little look at some of the exercises that I'll send you on that Edufy platform, just to help you to get rebalanced into it. When we went through the initial sort of task of trying to get you into a slightly better position, we used the balance lab in the studio next door, and we found that this left shoulder basically needed to sit a little bit more that way, and that also, if you were encouraged to bring your body weight with you as your left shoulder went that direction, and that really helped you to get, as you can see there, into a slightly more balanced position. We then put in play this DST club, which was the bendy club that I recommend. I think it's a really, really good tool. Put that into position, and then you really got into like a much more aggressive type of starting position, and that was the first time you started to look as if this left shoulder wanted to hold its shape in the backswing, and you were going to be able to make the right type of backswing rotation. When it came to that type of conversation with backswing and the way the backswing needed to work, I gave you 3 little exercises, or 4 little exercises. The first one being this sort of lawnmower drill that helps you to feel, that your weight is kind of coiling up back around behind you in this kind of manner here. So taking your arms and putting them in front of you, or making a fist with your right hand, and then bringing your right arm up back around behind you, letting your fist kind of withdraw, and keeping that left shoulder down and in front. That really helps you to feel the correct sort of angle. The second exercise was to give you a feeling of letting that left shoulder point more down. You can see I kind of made you feel like you pointed up. You're never that bad. But from a point of view of putting another club just in between your legs, maybe just underneath the inside of your right thigh there, and then trying to point the club more down towards the front of this club here. And you can see that really tidied up the way your body rotation looked. I think that was probably the best of the exercises, to be honest with you, that made you look as if you really held your angles very well. The next one, kind of this feeling of what a pull turn and a push turn would be. A pull turn would be where we pull this right shoulder towards the target, whereas a push turn would be where we would push the left shoulder away from the target. That's another really good feeling. I've had tour players have used that during tournaments to help them sort of stay centered and stay over it a little bit better. And then the final one was, a little bit of a club and body together, letting your left wrist hinge the club back, and then putting your right hand on the golf club just down the middle of the shaft, and being able to feel as if you held your angles by keeping that right hand higher than your left. That's making your left shoulder get a little bit lower Then once you slide your right hand back down to your left hand, it'll give you a really good feeling for what that backswing should be with regards to your body position. You know, so once you start to get there, of course, what we're going to have to try to feel are some ways to stop these arms from lifting up as much. You can see this left arm of yours lifted up above the height of your shoulder plane, and Dalia's got a couple of swings that she took a little bit later on in the session that will show that your left arm is a little bit lower and on your shoulder plane angle, which is really going to be effective and going to help you an awful lot. So put this into your locker for practice. Stay in touch, and I'll